Welcome to Grappling Legacy Lounge. Whoa, that went really red there for a second. That's okay. It's fine. We're going to keep going. Episode 13, John Line 13.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. I'm here with the John Thomas.
That's me.
So, founder of TapCancerOut. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been training?
I started in 2008.
Yeah.
The summer of 2008. Yeah, I think it was like August. Hot as hell in a gym that obviously had no
Connecticut?
AC or anything, and it was brutal. Yes, I was in Connecticut. Yeah,
So
the first academy was Ultimate MMA in North Haven, Connecticut.
What made you decide to do jiu-jitsu?
So I had just basically finished my volleyball career in terms of playing. Got my I did I don't know what movie to cite where someone's in college for a lot of years, but I got my undergraduate in 2002. Then I immediately got a job at the same university, Fairfield University in Connecticut, and then a year later started my MBA. And so I was able to play volleyball basically throughout all those years. It was club, so less restrictions in terms of like how many years you can play.
So no scholarship.
No. But yeah, so I stopped playing for the university in 2006, and then I did like a men's team in 2007. But it was like it's just hard. It was just hard because I wasn't like amazing, but it was a high level of volleyball where I can't just do it at like rec leagues and stuff like
because you're competitive.
Yeah. You had to I needed like a good team and a good league, and I did play on a good team for a little while. But then after that, it was that team, like a couple guys moved, and so we kind of had to disband, and I was trying to get my college teammates back into it, doing the like tournaments around New England. But it's so specific in the positions and stuff that you need. Like, okay, we got 2 outsides, we got 2 middles, but we need a setter and an opposite. Do you know a setter? Like, you can't just get anybody. You need the people who play the specific positions. And then we'll have a full team, and then the night before, someone's like, "Oh, sorry, I got to bail," and then you're like, "Oh, crap."
That's like rec league softball.
Yeah,
I played a lot of that, and I ran a lot of those teams. It's terrible.
Yeah, so I had literally spent the whole year without like doing anything competitive, and I was just like going to the gym and lifting, and that was boring, and I didn't like ever go with anybody except maybe my wife sometimes. But I was like, man, I need a sport. I need some sort of sport. And yeah, we had like a company softball team and stuff, and I did join like a men's softball team, but it's like whatever. It's not. I don't take it that seriously when you drink like a 6-pack after it
every game.
Yeah. I wanted like real competition where I was like had butterflies and stuff, and I had started to get into the UFC. Really, it's so random, but I was into not just UFC or MMA in general. People refer to it as UFC. I was into the WEC.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, and that was before they had just the lighter weight classes. So they still had 155, 185, all those things. But it was free on a network called Versus. So you could watch like a ton of it, and they would have them at the Hard Rocks in Vegas. That's when Uriah Faber was doing his thing. And I did recently get a chance to meet Uriah and tell him that it's because of him that I was able to get into jiu-jitsu, and it's because of jiu-jitsu that I was able to start TapCancerOut. And he was like, whoa. So
was that at
all those
was that
guys
at Masters or at jiu-jitsu guy?
At CJI.
Oh, is it CJI?
Yeah, like literally in the
this year?
No, last year.
Okay.
But in the alley.
Yeah.
Like after everything was done, all these people just sort of piled into the alley and were just like talking.
That's cool.
So I was trying to like meet everybody that I could.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, Uriah, and I ran over and interrupted. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I was getting it. I wanted. I always thought like, man, that would be a cool way to get in shape. Like getting in shape by like learning, sort of a martial art or whatever. But I didn't want to get punched in the face. I knew that. And so I had no like MMA aspirations whatsoever. I was like, I wish you could just train like them. Like I wish I could just go through the workouts and get fit like that, but not get hit in the face.
Right.
And so the more I looked into it, and it's like, oh, well, jiu-jitsu is part of this. And so I like tried to go to gyms in my area, but even then I didn't even know what I was looking for. Like I walked into a women's kickboxing gym. That's how like
Did you get
off.
Did you
It was.
get kicked right out?
I mean, I walked right in and had like a 30-second conversation. They're basically like, "This isn't for you," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I don't think this is what I'm looking for." Like, I was like trying to find anything. So luckily, I was able to stumble into Ultimate MMA, and they did everything: MMA, no gi, all that stuff. But they actually had like guys who were fighting on, it was Sherdog, I think, was doing, or Bodog fights or whatever. This is a long time ago. So I was immediately hooked. Like, I knew I was terrible and it was going to be really, really hard. And the training conditions were like brutal. But there was something about it that was like, this is rad. And I dove head first into it. Like, yes, sign me up for all the classes I was going every day.
Did you compete back then?
Oh yeah, I
White
competed
belt?
as soon as I could. I competed. In
That's-
basketball shorts and a random t-shirt. Like, I didn't even have jiu-jitsu gear at the time.
Did you?
It was also hard to find jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
gear.
back then.
Like, even like what website were you buying it from? Like,
Right.
it was hard. It was like sprawl shorts, which were like $1 million, which nobody wears anymore.
Yeah,
'cause they're like huge and baggy. But
did gyms even sell like
not my
no-gi
gym.
stuff or anything? Yeah,
No,
because I didn't start
just
until.
like the shirt that had.
I mean, you weren't even born then.
Yeah.
At that point, we didn't start until 2015.
Yeah.
So.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're
Oh my
late.
God.
We're late bloomers, man.
Oh, wow.
We're late bloomers. So
I could have sworn you came to Philly
I
way
did.
before that.
I came to Philly.
I know you came to Philly, but
Right, I came to
if
Philly
you
in
told me
like
it was in 2015,
it was like 20.
I mean, I guess we only had our first tournament in 2012. Like, I always
2017.
think,
2017 is when I came.
I
to
started
Philly.
it way earlier than I did, but
Yeah.
What
belt were you when you started?
I was still
TapCancerOut?
just a blue belt.
When you started TapCancerOut?
Yes, I was a blue belt. So yeah, I got my blue belt in like 6 months, but back then, people got belts pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like sandbagging was like very much frowned upon,
Right.
And so like if you won a tournament or two as a white belt, you were gonna get promoted to blue
And it
belt,
was
so-
pretty. I mean, jiu-jitsu as a community was so small then. I don't even know if you could say it was a community back then. It was.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't like know anybody
Yeah.
who trained at another
Right.
gym. The closest, like, there was no gym within an hour of any other gym.
Right.
So like I literally, looked at Google Maps and there was a gym a half hour this way, a gym half hour that way. Well, if I go this way, I'm going against traffic. If I go this way, I'm going like with traffic. I don't want to be stuck in traffic, so I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
Like that's
right.
literally
That's
how I
figured it out.
picked it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you didn't really like know anybody. So yeah, it was so like and we didn't have tournament. We didn't have any tournaments in Connecticut. So you'd have to go to New Jersey, sometimes like Rhode Island and stuff to find tournaments. And so yeah, like I remember the first tournament, of course, was in Naga because
Everybody's first
but like
tournament's in
Matt
Naga.
Serra was there on the side of the mats
Oh,
coaching
really?
his guys, and I was like
Oh yeah, because you're by New York. So of
yeah,
course.
but all the guys would come who ran gyms would like be there coaching and everything. Like, and there were just like so many people, and I couldn't believe, I didn't really realize how big jiu-jitsu was because I was just used to going to my gym.
Right.
I knew it must be big, but I wasn't experiencing it any other way.
Right.
And then I went to a tournament.
Because
there's like, oh wow,
there's no cross training at that point.
No,
That didn't-
absolutely not.
It was completely frowned upon.
Yes.
It's crazy how times have changed.
Yes.
Because now it's like, I mean, we just got done training. We were at Pico Pal training, so
People encourage
like, and you go
cross
everywhere
training.
to train. So.
Oh yeah.
But-
I have like a free pass.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
But I mean, when I travel, I try to get it somewhere.
The traveling drop-in stuff is super accepted in the community, right? Because a lot of these places are becoming, but like, there are gyms in every city that the cities are like known for, and people want to, like, I remember when I visited Atos, it was like, they were so welcoming in that they had a regular class and it was like a real class. Andre taught it. Keenan and JT and Andres Spanovskis were all in the class. Other guys, Michael Liera Jr. was
Like
in
all
the
just
class.
drilling with you.
They were just in the class.
Yeah. So there was
like learning.
no pro classes because now it's like pro classes. The pros go somewhere else.
Like
if you go
with the pros.
if you go to B team, you're not going to see those guys.
At the time, just a hobbyist purple belt. Yeah. There was 2 other people who were visiting, so it's like I'm sure they got visitors every day. Now they kicked the crap out of me. They kicked the crap out of me. I mean, there was no letting me work, welcoming this guest.
No,
they kicked the crap out of me. But and Andre's daughter was there, but she was like 6.
Dude.
And now she was like
She
just
just-
competing in
yeah, I was
CGI,
gonna say
right?
she's just
Yeah,
competing
so
in
that was
CGI.
wild to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that's super. Yeah, the cross training culture is completely different now, and there's just like so many other gyms, and there's also like I used to train with this guy. Now he owns a gym over here, so he's still my friend. I want to go train with him. It should be okay. And
Right.
yeah, it's way different. But,
Yeah, it's totally different. It's completely like from what I was told. Like when we started, cross training was just becoming a thing. It was still frowned upon from where we were at, and yeah, over time they kind of opened it up a little bit. But yeah, it was interesting. So I can only imagine 2008, 2009, what that was even like. So
it wasn't like anything. You never even thought about it. Like you just trained at your own gym. You never thought about it.
Yeah, that. I mean, it makes sense because there's not a lot of places to go to,
like San Diego or something. Like, and maybe I could drop in, but no, you just went. Yeah, you went to your spot. And that was it, and it was like that for many. I really didn't start like cross training until my teammates started their own gyms. Started their own gyms.
Oh, really?
And then it was really, I mean, now they started their own gyms against it did not make my instructor at the time very happy. And so we were like not supposed to train there, but he's my friend and I want to go train, so like that's how it all started.
Yeah.
And then once I switched gyms, once I switched to American Top Team, Luigi could care less.
So when did you get your purple belt?
I got my. Oh, that's a great question. I probably got my purple belt. Well, I still have my blue belt when I had our first tournament in 2012, so I probably got it in 2013, somewhere around there.
So you really started
2012, somewhere around there.
You started TapCancerOut when you were a blue belt?
Yes.
Did people take it like? Did people realize, it's a blue belt managing tournaments?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I wonder how that would be taken today. Like I've seen to be fair, I've seen gyms that are ran and owned by blue belts.
Yeah.
And they do pretty good, But I wonder as long as you're studying up, who are you training under, I guess running a tournament's a little different.
Now, looking back on it's one of my proudest things.
It should be.
That I did it anyway.
It should be.
I had no business doing it. Not only, it's not like, I wasn't a black belt, I was a blue belt. I didn't have sponsors. I didn't have a name. I didn't really have any resources to draw, to lean on to get this tournament going. A tournament, I was talking to Chewy today. He can just start a tournament like that because everybody knows who he is. And he did. And they're great. Right. They're wonderful.
Right.
And so at the time, the one thing that worked in my favor was there were no tournaments.
Right.
At that time.
Right.
I mean,
and you're in Connecticut.
But I was in Connecticut. There were no tournaments in Connecticut.
Right.
So people were just like, tournament in Connecticut? Sign me up. Now, we used the wrestling mats from the high school.
Yeah.
We used painter's tape to just do a cross in the middle to make 4 squares. It was low budge.
Right.
And we still had 150 adult competitors, which is a lot because we didn't even have kids back then.
Right.
So, there are tournaments now where we'll go to cities and we don't even draw that many with kids. So I couldn't believe people had faith in me. We didn't have real referees. It was just my teammates, my purple belt teammates and brown belt teammates that I would sort. We had one real referee, and I had to pay him, but I didn't pay anybody else. And miraculously, there was one blown call. But other than that, nobody had any complaints about the refs or anything.
And this is all before Smooth Comp.
I hand wrote the brackets.
Yeah.
We had blank brackets.
Almost like how Naga did it up until
I
last
had to print out tons because I didn't know how many people would be in each bracket. So how many 3-person brackets do I print? How many 4-person brackets do I print? So I had a stack and we'd be like, all right, I think there's 8 people in this. Find me an 8-person. All right. So we started 45 minutes late just because of that, because we were frantically writing down brackets.
Sure.
But once we got going, we were fine. We hand wrote brackets for 3 events. So that one, and then in 2013 we had our Connecticut again, and then we had Massachusetts, and we were still, my wife and I were handwriting the brackets the night before, which all went to crap as soon as the first person gets there, overweight. Yeah. Now we got to erase. Yeah. Now we got to add. Well, now we got to add another person, so we got to erase these 2 and move them back, and it was like this. Yeah. So, and then 2014 we started using a service that pre-smooth comp, but did
Right.
basically what smooth comp does
Right.
without the social.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're
without the
good.
social media aspect and like profile aspect, but it would bracket it. Yeah, we had to do that because it was getting out of control. But
Sure.
yeah, everything. Yeah, we built.
How many tournaments did you run back then?
It basically, we added one every year. There's 1 year in there where we didn't. So it was something like 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5.
But you stayed in the Connecticut area, right?
No, our third tournament was San Diego.
Really?
Yes. Not our third in total, but our third city was San Diego.
How?
It was really important for me to do that because my whole reason, well, not reason, but like what sparked this idea was attending what were called the Classy Awards. My friend Pat, who is still on our board, he started a company called Classy, which is the fundraising platform that we use. And they have an event called the Classy Awards. So it was like a black tie affair at this beautiful theater in San Diego. Very highbrow, cocktail hour before, after party after, big sponsors and stuff. And it was just celebrating all these nonprofits and all these people who were doing amazing things. And, you know, I was meeting people at the cocktail hour and shaking hands, and they're like, oh, yeah, I build schools in Tanzania.
Wow.
You know, I mobilize veterans to respond to natural disasters. What do you do, John? Well, I am a communications manager at an ad agency. It was like it's not moving. People were like, oh, great. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something, and I'm getting out of this chair until I do something. Or at least come up with an idea.
Right.
The only idea that I had was jiu-jitsu and cancer. That was it. And I came up with the name, which was originally Tap Out Cancer. Of course, we had to change it famously to Tap Cancer Out. But I told Pat the next morning on the way to the airport, and he was like, I love it. I love it. Let's go. Let's do it. I will help you. Let's do it. And we did it. But that was 2010.
Yeah.
So it took us a full 2 years to really realize that the model had to be like our own events. We couldn't have a booth at an MMA event or a booth at we couldn't just live booth to booth for the rest of our lives. We had to have something proprietary that would encourage people to set up fundraisers and fundraise. And Becky and I had done this thing called Team in Training with the Leukemia Lymphoma Society in 2007, in memory of my nephew Michael, who passed in 2006 from leukemia, where we both signed up to fundraise $1,000 for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. We gave them our credit cards, so they were getting the $1,000.
They were getting it regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in return, you know, they give us all these resources to like train to run a half marathon, because a lot of people who do this have never run anything close. Becky being one of them. I had never done it either, so who am I to say anything? But then also in terms of the race itself, they got us our bibs to the races, of course, so that was free. A hotel room the night before, a big dinner with all the fundraisers the night before, a tent for all the fundraisers at the race. So it was like all of these perks, you know, for fundraising in return for and we raised more than $1,000 each, but and they had volunteers at every mile marker cheering us on. We had our names like written across the shirt,
cool.
And then the person we were running for on the back. So they would just read off your name and be like, "Go, John, go, John, go, John."
They have no idea who you are. They're like, John, yes.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. So, you know, you're getting motivated every mile and stuff. So that was great. And I was like, you know, I could probably apply this to jiu-jitsu. You know, like what, and the thing that came to me immediately was like, well, if they raise a certain amount, they can compete for free. That's awesome. Like one of the more difficult elements of jiu-jitsu competition is that you can't really do it that often,
right?
Because it's so expensive.
It is,
you know. So if you, I mean, in volleyball, I was playing every weekend, like, but it's $20 a head,
right?
You know, like,
and that's what a wrestling tournament.
Yeah, wrestling tournament's like 20.
Yeah, exactly. Like 20, 25, $30.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
like the most I've seen is like 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that would be compelling. Then it was just a matter of, okay, what are going to be the perks beyond that to get people to fundraise more? So, you know, I don't even know what the perks were at the first event. I knew we had fundraiser tees. We could have had rash guards at the time. I think we had hoodies, but it like wasn't much more other than that. We did not have any backpacks. We didn't make gis at that time. We certainly didn't have the TC Oasis at the $10,000 level. So we just like built upon that. And your question about San Diego, so because I came up with the idea in San Diego, Classy was based in San Diego. I knew we'd get a lot of volunteers from Classy, and San Diego is obviously like
It's
a mecca of
huge.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I was like, I really want to figure it out. And I just randomly posted on our Facebook page, and this is back when like people actually engaged on Facebook and it wasn't all like bots and stuff.
Right.
I was like, hey, I want to go out to San Diego. I can't bring our stuff out there. Does anyone know of a tournament organization that would help? It wasn't going to be the big ones, we'll say.
Right.
And somebody tagged this guy Corey at Grappling X. I'd never heard of Corey. I'd never heard of Grappling X.
Yeah.
And why would I? I don't live out there.
Right.
And they do regional tournaments out there. But he was like, yeah. So I paid for his services. Like, I'm going to use all of his stuff. He's going to drive it out to wherever we are. So I basically rented all of his stuff. We flew out the stuff that we needed, our laptops, our table linens, like little things like that. But he had everything else. And so in 2015, we had our first San Diego tournament. So
that's awesome.
That was a whole other beast,
awesome.
like flying out there and like, there's no going back to the office if you forgot something. You better bring everything that you need.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what Corey was going to bring, what he wasn't going to bring, and if he was going to forget a scale or something. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but we did it. And then we worked with Corey all the way up until just a few years ago, and then we started just driving ourselves all the way out there.
Right.
Yeah, we worked with him for many, many years. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So like, kind of fast forward to probably towards the end of 2016, 2017. My aunt had just passed away from cancer, and I was like, I was still a white belt, and I'm like, I want to do something to give back. You know, how can I give back? And I was like, I want to see if I can. I knew of there's like pin cancer, for wrestling, so I saw that. I'm like, I wonder if there's something for jiu-jitsu. So I just started Googling, cancer and jiu-jitsu, and I came across you guys.
Yeah.
And when I looked up all your tournaments, they're all, Philly.
Yeah, East Coast.
Yeah, it was all East Coast. So I was like, I think I emailed you guys. I did email you guys. Said, hey, you're coming out to Chicago? You should come out to Chicago.
Yeah.
No, we're only out here, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, well, then I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to go out there.
Right.
So I did. I just signed up for the one in Philly and started fundraising. And I'm like, I don't know how much I'm going to get, but I'm going to get whatever I can. And we didn't fly. We packed up the whole car. We drove the whole car.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know until you got there, and then you told, because you got there for setup, and then you told us you had just driven. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they're all little babies.
Yeah, they were babies. So, Brandon was in a stroller.
Yeah.
So I remember taping the mats down, and I swear people wrote notes on the mat.
They did.
I love that.
They did. So in order to pay for our first mats, because by the second tournament, like I knew the wrestling mat thing wasn't, we were not long for that.
Yeah.
So I knew we had to get mats. And so we reached out to Dahlimer, and was it Zebra? Dahlimer? I think our first mats were Dahlimer. And
they were rollouts.
They're rollouts. Yeah, it had to be Dahlimer because they were rollouts. Zebra only had the blocks. And Dahlimer had just really come out with like the tournament rollouts that had Velcro.
Right.
So yeah, we got 2,400 square feet of mats, but we didn't have enough money to like pay for all of them. So we basically there was a site at the time that allowed that had this functionality in it, but basically if you donated certain amounts, you would get certain things. And one of the things was like, if you donated $100, we'll write any message you want on like, one sort of 2 meter by 2 meter section or whatever. And so we had a bunch of people do that. So once we got the mats and we set them up for the very first time in Connecticut, we wrote every note that was asked of us. So that was pretty cool.
When we rolled them out, and I was reading them. At first, I was like, "What? I thought it was like, I thought they were dirty." And then I'm looking. I'm like, "These are messages."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Holy God!" I was getting choked up reading some of them. It was very emotional. So
yeah, I want to bring that back. Not thank God.
Well, maybe you can do it next year.
Well, we cut the mats, so thank God we didn't like write it in the middle, and then I had to cut through everybody's
That would have been terrible.
So, but yeah, that's how we got our first mats. And it was funny. I remember all the people asking. It wasn't just you. Like there were other people asking us to go to Chicago.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And yeah, but we were hub and spoke.
Right.
Like the way that we worked back then was
You
on
rented a
Friday,
U-Haul.
I would go to U-Haul.
Yeah.
I got to like know the U-Haul people personally. Like they knew me and knew when I was coming and knew what truck I needed. Like, hey, so I get the truck. I would drive to storage. We'd have to take everything out of storage, put it in the truck. So I would have to find a group of people to help me do that, like locally. Then I would drive to Philly. I would drive to Buffalo. I would drive to Massachusetts.
That's right. You were in Buffalo for a couple times.
So we would load everything at like 10 or 9 in the morning. Then I have to do the 3, 4, 5 hour drive, however far we're away. So we weren't getting to these places till like 6 o'clock at night. Then we were doing all of the setup.
Right.
So these were like long days.
And it was really just you and Becky doing the setup for the most part.
Yeah,
right?
we would have like a few people like locally, but we were the only ones. Yeah, and Becky didn't go to all. Sometimes I'd just drive by myself. And then we would do the tournament the next day. Sometimes that night I would drive back to Connecticut, or the next morning I would drive straight to the storage facility.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully people would be there to help. We would unload everything, and I would bring the truck back, and then I would be back to work on Monday. And so to get out to Chicago would have been a really
logistically
big
would have been
haul. So we really weren't able to do that until we got the truck and the trailer, and we were able to actually set up a proper tour.
Yeah. And to be honest, I didn't know anything when we drove out to Philly. We got in early. I didn't know anything about like volunteering or anything like that. It just happened. We got in early. And I think I sent you an email. Wasn't even expecting a response because it was like the night, night of, saying, "Hey, we're in early if you want help setting up or whatever." And you're like, "Oh yeah, I'd love it." And then that's when I realized, okay, everything's volunteer.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that we stuck, in communications, because throughout the years, as you were able to grow and you came out to Chicago, that would, to me, I was like, I'm in. I'm all in. Let's head first. Let's do it. What do you need? You need me to go find a place for you? What do you want? So I was in awe about it. So, and then by then Gabe started competing, so I wanted to get him involved and get him fundraising and learning all about it. So then we fast forward. That was like 2018, 2019?
2018 was our first tour.
Yeah. Okay. And then you started doing super fights the year after 2019? Or showcase? Their showcase.
So the showcase...
or was that during COVID?
So it was during COVID, but I think the showcases existed, if I remember. Okay. I think it was 2018 Connecticut was when we did our first, it was called the Black Belt Showcase. So you had to be a black belt to compete on it. But it happened simultaneously with our Connecticut tournament. Yeah. And that time, Connecticut was cooking. Yeah. Like, we had close to 800 competitors for the tournament during the day. And we were hosting right next to the mats. We had the bleachers. The mats weren't on a stage. They were just on the ground. But then, like, chairs all around. We actually had a stage next to it for, like, all of the media stuff, for, like, the cameras and the people doing play-by-play. And that backed right up to where the bracketing table was. So, like, we were hosting 2 simultaneous events at the same time. That was a nightmare.
I was going to say, how stressful was that?
Hard. That was so hard. But we were able to do it, and it was fun. It was really fun, and so we started doing more of those in 2020. So we did a couple more in 2019. I think we did Philly. We definitely did Philly, Massachusetts, Connecticut. That's when we started to, they would be after the tournament. They would be at night. We had the stage, like all sorts of stuff. And then in 2020, they were really our savior. I mean, Global Grappling Day was a savior for 2020.
I was just going to mention Global Grappling Day.
We were still, we found a way to still host showcases.
Yeah.
But, everybody had to set up outside. You only came into the building when it was your turn to fight, like all that sort of stuff. But it was also easier to get competitors because there was no other place
There was
to
nothing.
compete.
Everything was
so
shut
we were
down.
able to fill it with a lot of fights. So that helped.
Yeah.
That definitely
and
helped us.
You did it out of other people's gyms.
Yeah.
Because I went to Massachusetts to do it.
Yeah.
And I give Sergio crap every time I see him because I blame him for me losing that match.
Oh, really?
Because he reffed. just because he ref, no
Yeah.
other reason. I
Okay.
lost it fair and square.
All right.
I lost it fair and square,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
just blame him.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that I remember like we had to wear masks. We
Yeah.
were allowed to go in, weigh in, and then go sit in our car.
Yeah.
And then they would call us like 2 or 3 matches ahead,
Mhm.
and you were only allowed a certain amount of people in the building at the time.
Yeah.
It was a
we had
crazy
to do
time.
it, but
It was a crazy
but
time.
we were
But
able to make it happen
Yeah.
at least. And then the showcases sort of ran their course. There's 2 major issues with it. Number one, it is really hard to matchmake.
Yeah.
We didn't really know how hard it would be. It was all on Dave Bannon, who
Yep.
was working
I
for me at
remember
the
Dave.
time. He did all the matchmaking, and man, people say they'll fight anyone anywhere. I
And
do
then
jiu-jitsu.
they
That is
won't.
not true.
that is not true.
They will fight people who are their exact age,
Yep.
exact belt,
Yep.
exact weight,
Yep.
who don't train at their academy or an affiliate academy, or that they've ever cross-trained with, that they didn't recently fight or going to fight in the future.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I already have a fight. Like, I think I'm going to fight this guy in the future, so I don't want to fight him at your. Like,
Yeah.
those were things where we're like, what?
Yeah, that's
So it was really hard. You had to have this big pool of people that you
Yeah.
were, and we relied on people just, raising their hand and saying, like, I want to get. So we're limited to the pool that we
Yeah.
have. And then, of course, we would like put out posts that were like, okay, we need all these people. We need a blue belt. We need a purple belt. We need a brown belt. And this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, that's
then
logistic nightmare.
Additionally, as they went on, fewer and fewer people were fundraising. It was just becoming more of like people just love to do super fights and wouldn't really like compete in any other way. So like because super fights, fight to win and stuff was becoming more popular.
Yeah, and they still are. They're still pretty popular.
Yeah. So it was just the fundraising was just going down,
Mhm.
and the people who would fundraise for the showcase would have done the tournament anyways if we had just done the tournament. So
True.
like Shannon Shade
Yeah.
from Philly,
Yeah.
like she did a showcase. She fundraised like 70% of everything that was fundraised for the showcase, and she would do she fundraises, she doesn't even do the tournament.
Yeah.
Like she just volunteers and
That's
fundraises
awesome.
and doesn't even compete. So like if I was gonna get Shannon's fundraising anyways, why am I hosting a sub only showcase for like the other 30%? Like
Right.
it's really expensive. Renting we don't own our own stage. We don't own our own lights and AV and all of that
so
stuff.
a lot of
We
that
needed
fundraising
all of
still
the
goes to
skilled
that.
labor to do all of
Yeah.
that. Like you'd have people for lights, you'd have people for streaming,
Yeah.
you'd have all that stuff. It was really, really expensive, and it just makes that tournament. I mean, you know what it's like to work a tournament,
Oh, yeah.
especially a long one.
Oh yeah.
Imagine like staying there and continuing to
Just
work
work
for
it.
another 4 to 5 hours. You never want to do
Yeah,
it again.
because you have to get other volunteers
Yeah.
or the people that are volunteering for the tournament. It was, hey, if you want to watch the showcase, you can get it for free. Volunteer,
Yeah,
help us
yeah.
out. So
Yeah, it was-
I remember they were
hard.
long days.
And you're like in the middle of hosting a tournament, and then the chair vendor's here. Okay, well, someone's got to go like tell them where to put the chairs and
Right.
like. So we were losing people who were helping the tournament, important people, because they have to go manage the showcase.
Yes.
It was just too much. I will leave that to the experts.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's shift a little bit because TapCancerOut is more than just a tournament. Like you said, there were the showcases, but now there's Global Grappling Day.
Yeah.
And that's December.
December
with
13th.
December 13th. Every year. Same day. Or does it
It's
shift?
a different number. It's
it
typically
was
the
the-
second Saturday. Well,
that what
now
it
it's
is?
become the day of Nogi Worlds. Because
Oh, is it really?
yeah, it's
So
yeah,
that's
we
like the
keep landing
third.
on it.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
the second.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
see.
used to be the first weekend.
Yeah.
It was like December 7th, and
Yeah.
we had planned it for December 7th. So then we moved it to December 14th, and then the following year we were like, okay, let's just keep it the same week, and then Nogi moved to. So, anyways, it's the second weekend basically of December.
And-
That's Saturday.
What I love about it, and I'll let you explain what it is, but what I like about it is it's more for most likely the hobbyists that either don't want to compete or for whatever reason, maybe they're just gun shy, stage fright, whatever, right? But it gives them an opportunity to kind of give back, right? So what exactly is it?
So it was created on the Peloton during the pandemic. I was in the middle of a ride, and I was like, man, all these other nonprofits are like pivoting their events. Oh, we're going to have a 5K. Well, it's going to be a virtual 5K. Still do all of the fundraising, but then on this day, at this time, run 5 kilometers in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
We don't all have to be together for it, you know? And I was like, what is the jiu-jitsu pivot for that? You can't do jiu-jitsu alone. So that was a big hang up. But I couldn't encourage academies in the you know, because when we launched it, it was the middle of 2020.
Yeah.
So we're only like 4 months, 5 months into it. I can't encourage academies under the, you know, the darkness of night to get together and like expose everybody. And, you know, so we had to figure out like a safe way to still motivate people to fundraise and then like do something at the end. So like, what is that thing at the end? And so I based it off of the black belt test that I had where it's not a test. It's just what we all had to do. But I mean, as long as you don't die, I guess you pass, right? So I had to roll for an hour straight. I got one break at the 30-minute mark, but I had to roll for an hour straight with a new brown or black belt coming in. I think it was every 2 or 3 minutes. So, I mean, within 5 minutes, I was gassed.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
6 minutes.
Because they're all
the
fresh.
third fresh guy, I was like, ugh. And now I got 55 more minutes of this.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, by the end, you're dead to the world, but I did it, you know, and everybody survived. And I'm not asking you to roll against a fresh brown or black belt. For Global Grappling Day, it was on one day, grab one partner and roll for 1 hour straight. So it's a 1 hour round. That's how it started, as a 1 hour round. And so it was really cool. You know, some people still were able to like do it at their academy. Some people were doing it in their garage. You know, I did it in my in-laws' backyard with Dave with our rollout warm-up mats. That RIP, we don't have anymore. They got stolen. But, you know, so like some people are doing it outside. Like it was funny. And some people were doing it with a grappling dummy. Some people were doing it with their wife who doesn't even train jiu-jitsu. Like it didn't really matter. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to hand me proof that you did anything that day. It was all about the fundraising.
Right.
And people were itching to get involved, similar to the showcases, you know, because they couldn't compete. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that they really wanted to feel good about the world and like feel that they were making a difference, because we all felt super powerless during that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we raised like $275,000 that first year for Global Grappling Day, which at the time was one of, if not the biggest event we had ever had in terms of fundraising. So it was, we knew we had something, and we were like, oh my God, this is crazy. So we got to do it again next year. But as the following year came, everybody was back at their academies. So, you know, it was harder to get, you know, the people who were part of our tournaments on a year in and year out basis, they're going to fundraise for the tournaments. So it really became a focus on capturing the people who can't get to our tournaments.
Right.
Or that don't compete, as you said. You know, if when you look at like how many competitors from a given academy come to our tournaments, I can't speak about other tournaments, but you know, there's plenty of academies that don't send anybody, right? And there are some academies where the owner will straight up say, we don't compete.
Yeah.
I've never like been to one of those academies, but
I have.
I have heard that from, they're like, we just I'm sorry, man, we're just not a competitive gym.
Yeah.
And man, sign me up for that. Nowadays, sign me up for that.
Right.
But like, if you're bringing double digits, that's a quality showing. You know, if you're bringing 20 or 30, that's great. Our record is like Easton brought close to 100, but that's 8 locations, right? So that's still like 10 to 15 per gym. How many people are members of that gym? 150? You know, so we're talking like 10% at best of all the people in a gym actually compete. So we're missing 90% of the competitors out there just in the locations that we have gyms, or I'm sorry, that we have tournaments. We're missing 100% of the competitors in every other country because
I was just gonna say, like,
it was
Europe.
all location based, you know? So if you weren't near a tournament, yes, we're missing 100% of the people in Seattle because they can't get to a tournament. They can't now. We're having a Seattle one next year. But so, you know, it shifted to like, how do we get in touch with them? How do we get them aware of what we're doing? How do we get them involved? And how do we help them create Global Grappling Day events that are all of the positive elements of jiu-jitsu and none of the negative elements of jiu-jitsu, and specifically competing jiu-jitsu? None of the weight cutting, none of the driving too far away for location, none of the finding parking, paying for parking. What am I going to eat? Where am I going to sit? all the butterflies,
All the
the
butterflies.
risk
Yes.
of injury,
Yes.
all of that stuff you don't have to worry about. So we really think that Global Grappling Day will usurp all of our tournaments and kind of like, Fight to Win used to just be amateur tournaments. They
Right.
used to just be like regular, and they still host.
I was just saying they're
still
doing
host
that again now.
tournaments. But if you ask somebody to explain Fight to Win, they're going to talk about
The super fights.
The super fights,
Absolutely.
right? So someday they're gonna say TapCancerOut. They run Global Grappling Day, right? And then be like, yeah, we also have
We
tournaments.
also have
Did you know
tournaments.
that?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
Because Global Grappling Day is endlessly scalable. We can have 10,000 people take part. We can have 5,000 gyms take part.
And it's not just an hour of rolling anymore.
It can be whatever you
People
want.
are doing seminars.
Yes, they're doing
So,
everything.
yeah.
So we came up with the line, host a seminar to save a life. Put some meaning in your open mat. Like however
open mats
you,
too.
however you like to do. Like, listen, you're all having open mats that Saturday. Like, I know that all of you, all the jiu-jitsu schools are open.
Right.
So why not turn it into a Global Grappling Day? It
Yeah.
can be the smallest of things, like $5. Like, let's set up our page and just donate $5 when we get in, or just Venmo the instructor and he'll like donate it. Like, it could be the easiest thing. But also, if you want to fundraise, you're going to get. We have even more perk levels than we do for
there's
the
different
tournament.
perks.
Last year we started the different perks.
Yeah.
So it used to just be the same ones as the tournament. So if you already did the tournament, it's not that compelling.
Right.
So we wanted to switch it up and have different perks for Global Grappling Day, so that a competitor might want to fundraise all over again and start all over again. The fundraising T-shirt's different, and you can get new stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily get. And now we have a lot more merchandise, so that like when you get to like the hoodie and rash guard level, it's going to take you a long time to get through all of our hoodies and rash guards.
Right.
Because we have a lot.
Yeah, there's several different ones now.
Yeah, exactly. So
there used to just be a black one and a gray one.
Yeah.
Now there's like
there's plenty. Thanks to Becky. There's a whole lot.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of our responses to the academy owners being so open to what we were doing in terms of Global Grappling Day was to shift Sarah's role. We hired Sarah Fanning as our event manager. Her role is now Academy Relationship Manager. So she'll work with academies in their relations to our tournaments and stuff. She's out here in Chicago visiting other academies.
I know she ditched us tonight.
Yes, she did.
But it's okay.
You got the boss.
Yeah.
You got the boss.
Right. Yes.
There's other academies that she went to that were very sad that John wasn't there as well. So, hey, listen, I can't be everywhere at once, right? So, but her role in Global Grappling Day is to help them figure out what that event is going to be and share ideas from what she has learned from, all of these unique ways that people fundraise and set up Global Grappling Day events and all that stuff. It's all learned from what other people have come up with.
Sure.
Like
how to be creative.
Yes. It's just
without
what we see.
realizing you're creative.
Yeah. Like I've thought of as many ideas as I can come up with.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, oh, wow, he did that. She did that, so Shannon has all of these different ideas and ways that people can, host Global Grappling Day events and really help show that their academy is more than medal chasing and winning and losing and that they want to give back to the community. And I think now more than ever, with a jiu-jitsu gym on every corner, how do you differentiate? If I've never trained jiu-jitsu and I walk into any gym here in Chicago, I'm going to see the belts and medals. There's going to be black belts instructing.
Yep.
I don't know the difference between Gracies and all the other people. So how am I going to tell the difference between a gym that it fits what I'm looking for and another gym? And so it's hard. And it's even hard to ask somebody to try this one and then go try that one and then go try that one. You kind of feel pressured to a lot of the times to just sign on the dotted line where you are. I didn't try any gyms. I went to one and signed up. I said, this looks good.
It's kind of what we did.
Yeah. So I don't know. It looks like a gym to me.
Yeah, it looks like a gym.
Yeah,
there's no AC. I'm here.
If you walk in, especially if a parent walks in and sees the banners and stuff, and say this academy has raised $60,000.
Right.
That means something, and that shows that you're doing more. And there's Adopt a Cop banners, and there's Redefy stuff, and all of that stuff matters.
Yep.
So it's good to see that, and I think that it can be a real differentiator. And so obviously, I want people to get involved in Tap Cancer Out for a myriad of different reasons, but it can help them too. And so I try to explain that to them. Like, it can be a real differentiator just by getting involved and showing that you care.
Yeah. And not only do they have to they don't have to necessarily fundraise. Another way to give back is to volunteer.
Of course.
Like you mentioned it every tournament that I've been at with you, and we're training the volunteers and whatnot. You come over and you talk about them being the bloodline.
Yes.
Everyone wears red because they're the blood, and they help run this tournament. They pretty much, let's face it, they do run the tournament.
They absolutely do.
Without volunteers, there's no tournament, because they need to know how to keep score. And we've trained people that have never done jiu-jitsu before. People from the beneficiaries come in and pick it up. So you don't have to know jiu-jitsu to do it. It's a great opportunity to give back. That's my point of it, right? And Global Grappling Day, raise money. Obviously, fundraising is important. It keeps things going. Do that, but volunteer too. When you come around, reach out, volunteer. They volunteer. They go to the website and volunteer, right?
Yeah, it's just tapcancerout.org/volunteer. It's somewhere in the menu as well, and you just fill out. You pick what city you're interested in. We train everybody that morning, and at the beginning it's gonna feel like very important and really overwhelming, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want to mess up this score, like I don't want to pick the wrong winner and all of that stuff. But you get into the groove.
Yes.
And when I was training my son Jake, unlike he certainly didn't volunteer a whole day. He likes to sit at each job for 10 minutes and then be done with it. But he was keeping score, and then he doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu, and so I was teaching him, and then after 2 or 3 matches, he's like, all right, I want to do this by myself. And then another few matches go by, and then he's really enjoying it. And so I'm sitting with him, and then something happens in the match, and I thought he did something wrong. And so I tried to fix it, but I was wrong.
You were wrong.
And he's like, no. And then the referee's like, no. And I'm like, what? And so I was like, I'm getting out of here.
This is why
I'm messing it all up.
This is why you need to stay.
You guys got it. You guys got it. Yeah, I need to get out of here because I'm going to mess you guys up. Yeah, so by the end, everybody's got it. And we only bring a team of 5 or 6 people to every event.
Yep.
And you really need about 25 to 30 people to do it. So they are crucial to what we do. We ask a lot of them, but we make sure that they're well equipped, and there's always a TCO staff member there to help with anything major. It's having those people, especially the ones that come year in and year out, go to multiple events. The more events that you go to, the better you get at all of your jobs, and the more I can trust you.
Yeah.
And that's and you become more reliable, and that is critical as well. Then I need less people to run the table.
Right.
If I've got 2 people who've done it before, you guys got it. So all of that, it's one of the biggest stresses of tournament season is, do we have enough volunteers? How do we get more volunteers, and all that stuff. So it's a never ending cycle, but we try to make them feel appreciated. I hope they do know how appreciated they are, because not everybody does it. We just had a tournament in Raleigh with 560 competitors, God knows how many spectators, and we probably had 30 volunteers. So not everyone's willing to make that sacrifice,
Yeah.
But it was a full crew. We were good, but it's not like we have 100 people willing to do it.
Yeah.
So,
what's your biggest tournament?
it's our Massachusetts tournament.
Massachusetts. How many people?
Last year we were over 900. We were close to 1,000. Yeah.
What's Chicago?
Chicago's more like 600.
Y'all better step it up. Seriously.
You'll get there. You are 6 years behind Massachusetts. 5 years.
That's fair.
We started Massachusetts in 202013. We started Chicago in 2018.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
But don't get overtaken by...
Step it up.
Yeah. Raleigh's getting pretty big. Raleigh was mid 500s, and so was Colorado, which is only in its 4th year. So
Colorado's a fun one.
Yeah. They
have some good jiu-jitsu out in Colorado. I remember, and it's what I find interesting is the more I get to travel with you guys and see jiu-jitsu in different areas, it's like different styles depending on where we're at.
Yep.
But like also, like I think it was Phoenix and Colorado, you see a lot more black belts competing. And like you come to Chicago and you barely see a brown belt. So it's kind of sad, guys. Step it up. So
yeah, you know, that's like, you never know what you're going to get in terms of like black and brown belts. I try not to stress about it or even think about it until registration's closed, and then I like to look at how many we have. You know, most of them are coaching. Like I get why there's few numbers.
I get that too.
Like there's not a lot of black belts. Like I'm a rare breed where I don't teach. I mean, I'll teach as a guest teacher if you ever need me. But like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a coach. I don't go to tournaments and coach people. So like, I'm available to compete if I actually did. So I did compete a lot as a brown belt.
Yeah.
I went to like lots of local tournaments.
Have you ever competed at TapCancerOut?
Once.
Just once?
In Buffalo. 0-2.
Let's go back to Buffalo. Let's go back to Buffalo.
That was like an open air thing. It was pretty cool.
I saw the pictures of it. It looked like it was outdoors. I can't imagine an outdoor like arena in Buffalo, to be quite honest.
Snowing.
It was the middle of summer.
Yeah.
So it was like a nice temperature. There were spiders all over the place when we got there in the morning, and like some like morning dew on our equipment. But we went there twice. Yeah. It's just like not
They're
a super
small.
big market.
I was gonna say they don't have a lot of. I think there's only 2 jiu-jitsu gyms that I know that are out there. Because when I've gone out there, where did I train at? It was Lake Effect.
I was gonna say there's Lake Effect.
Lake Effect
and
is
then
what I trained at.
Buffalo United.
Martial
Martial Arts, BUMA. Yeah, which actually has a school in the venue.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh.
So they obviously were our top fundraisers every year.
Sure.
But, yeah. That was fun. It's far, and because we drove.
Yeah, as I say, you had to drive a U-Haul back then.
Yeah, that was a rough ride. But
that's like driving to Chicago, to be honest, because that's a big state. So, wow.
Yeah.
What were we on? We were on Chicago. We were talking about Chicago.
How do we get to Buffalo?
Because we always get to Buffalo when we're talking about
I guess so. You're right.
We'll pivot.
Yeah.
We were talking about volunteers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the ambassadors, the ambassador program. So you guys kicked that off 2019. Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. So are you still going with that? Like you still getting more and more people on, or is it?
It's funny. Somebody just messaged us about it. I mean, we get messages all the time.
And how do you pick?
Okay, so it originated as a way to really celebrate the people who were already doing so much for us. Like we wanted to formalize something and to show that they were a level above. And so we opened a form just to see like who was interested, with the hope that certain people would, sign up. And the people who didn't, we just told them they're an ambassador.
Yeah.
It was there. We probably had like 50 in like the first group. It's hard to onboard them.
Yeah.
So it was getting more difficult. There was a lot of interest, but people didn't really understand the concept. It's not their fault, but because we were doing it a little differently than like what you would typically see with like any other brand that's like, I want you to be an ambassador.
Right.
And it's basically like, you don't have to have ever shopped with us before. If we send you this hoodie, you can be an ambassador as long as you do a post and a review about it, and we'll give you a 10% code.
Right.
That's how traditional brands will do it. We're not looking for more people to like promote us in return for some sort of like perk or award or whatever.
Right.
We did it to show like this person has done so much. They have raised X amount, or they have volunteered at this many events and all that sort of stuff. So once we got to a level where, the group was like 100, and with, just like Spider-Man, with
great power
comes great responsibility. There were expectations. If you're an ambassador, you gotta go to your local tournament. You have to fundraise and or volunteer.
Right.
You have to and then we would give them challenges every so often, especially if we were like coming out with a new merch item. We wanted, they get first dibs and first crack at it, but to like share that it came out and just sort of simple stuff like that. We have not opened applications in quite a while, because it has morphed into a thing where you're basically just grandfathered into it. So if you have raised a certain amount, especially like any TC Oasis earner, which is someone who raises more than 10,000 in a year, they're voluntold that they're an ambassador,
Sure.
right? So we'll give them all that stuff. We'll invite them into the group. But, you know, we were also seeing like people being all jacked up to be an ambassador, and then they don't even come to their local tournament.
Yeah.
Like, and so now, we got to fire them, you know, like that's awkward.
It's just kind of part ways, right?
Yeah. So we did tell them like, hey, we're going to cut you loose. You don't have to feel obligated to do anything. You know, we'll take you out of the Facebook group, but like that's awkward too. So
Sure.
we didn't like want to continue to do that. So we had to make sure that the bar was high enough that once you're brought into this group, we don't really care where your journey takes you after that. Like, it's sort of like a Hall of Fame, you know, like we don't expect the Hall of Famers to continue to play baseball forever, you know, like they're going to stop eventually. But this is our way to say thank you. And so that's the group now. But we have some amazing people as ambassadors. A lot of them sort of turned into the people like the volunteer coordinators and the folks that we bring to our tournaments. They really turned into TapCancerOut staff.
Right. As I say, they're kind of
most dedicated.
I honestly feel like I'm an extension of it. I get text messages all the time from Glenn or Sarah, and sometimes you know, hey, can you make this date? Can you make this date? Can you make this date? Some of them are hard, obviously, 3 kids doing all sorts of things. But, you know, I talked to Rachel, and she's also very supportive. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, we can make it work. Let's just do it. You know? So again, it's all about giving back to me. So I love it. You know, I can't get it. And then I get to meet other people outside, you know, like I wouldn't say I'm an outgoing person. I'm more of a introvert, so to speak. So like the first couple of tournaments I went to, I was like, wait, I got to give a speech and train people. That's going to be rough, but I'll figure it out. And now I love it. It's like one of the best things. So.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to Sarah earlier today about how our tournaments have changed over the years, and some of the gripes that people have about like not being able to see the schedule and smooth comp and stuff. But all I ever want is these tournaments to be incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
In order to alleviate any of the stress that comes with inefficiency. So like warm up, cool down, warm up, cool down. I'm on this mat. Nope. I'm on this mat. Nope. I'm on this mat. Like, oh, my competitor was supposed to compete at this time, but they're not going until this time. Like all of that stuff can make your tournament experience worse. And, you know, you already have the butterflies, you know, there's already enough stresses with competing. And so we want to like take that element out of it. Also out of respect to our volunteers that are giving up their whole Saturday. Like, I don't want them to be there till 11. Like, you will never see a TapCancerOut tournament ever run anywhere near that. We had that Connecticut tournament with the sub-only showcase. Yeah. We were still running matches at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Really?
Yes. It was a lot of people.
I've never heard that from you guys.
A lot of people. And it wasn't because we were inefficient, but that we were still doing round robin for kids. And we weren't splitting divisions as much as we used to. So kids were getting so many matches. It was taking forever. We had to say that we were going to double bronze. We weren't going to do third place matches. People were upset with that. We ended up, and we were still doing the rental truck thing back then. Right. We brought everything. We got locked in the storage facility because we were there so late because we had to bring everything back to storage. So it was like 11:30 at night. We brought everything back to storage, and then we got locked in. We called the police. They came, and the guy who came trains jiu-jitsu. And he's like, I know you guys. And I was like, let us out.
Was he at the tournament that day?
No. But he knew a lot. Yeah, he's like, I train up the street at Endure and like all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it was because there's a gate that is like, you put in a code and it goes up and down, but eventually it won't go up and down anymore. So our truck was trapped.
Wow.
And so, like, we could have scaled the fence and, like, left, but our truck was still trapped there. And we had to get out. So, yeah, like, I will never, ever do that to my team ever again. So, yeah. So, we want to be as efficient as possible. So, what I was trying to get to was, you know, the staff, we have staffed up incredibly. So, like, in the mornings, I was the volunteer coordinator.
Mhm.
Like I made the assignments often that morning, not even the night before. Like that morning I would make the assignments. I would train the volunteers. I would do the morning announcements. Also, while still trying to support Shannon as our bracketing manager, who was
right.
the only one really doing bracketing. So I would try to help as much as possible and like get people weighed in. Like I did everything. And you know, Becky did a lot.
That's too much for you to do.
Yeah.
Though.
So, you know, we were like, man, I need somebody to like wrangle these volunteers, you know, and we need other people who are just like, we call them now our jacks, is the jack of all trades, but like I need someone like Trisha or Beth who knows how to do every job. So it's like, I thought I was going to need you at merch, but I actually need you to ring coordinate,
right.
or vice versa. Like they can do like wherever you need to. I need an all-star to like be like, Trish, we're super short. I need you to just run this ring by yourself.
Right.
And like that helps immensely. So we have like way more staff than it's still not a lot of staff, but having like 9 or 10 instead of 5 is massive.
Oh, yeah.
And like Keone at check-in, he can handle it. Like, you know, so that makes everything run so much faster. Even little things like the alley, splitting the mats and having the alley in the middle. Like I do have coaches who complain about that.
I think that was a great move.
That made I'm telling you, everything goes so much faster because the ring coordinators are not losing their competitors or hunting them down at the beginning of the matches.
Right. They're all right there.
Previously, for those of you who don't know, it was just on the outside. And so we would call the division to the mat, drop off the piece of paper, and it was a ring coordinator's responsibility to find every fighter. Half of them didn't hear. They don't know where they're going. They come and they go.
Yep.
They duck under the stanchions and all this sort of stuff. So putting the alley, we have perfect attendance in the
bullpens.
Yeah, in the bullpen type thing. In the queue, we bring the whole division over. Yep. We sit them down, especially with the littles who can like scatter.
Yes.
We sit them down, and then they stay there until they're done. And so that was that. So yeah, we have coaches who are like, well, my 6-year-old needs me. I get a little bit of it. And we do have coaches that like come in if you need to console someone. Like we're super flexible with that. But like even little innovations like that, not the other tournaments have done it. I didn't like come up with that idea, but little things like that have made it it goes so much faster.
It's very efficient. And now you don't do round robins for kids.
We do double elimination,
for
which
everybody.
Still at times gives them 3 or 4 matches, which is what they want. You know, famously in the same day I had somebody tell me 3 matches was not enough and that 4 matches was too many.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm like, oh, okay. They're not the same person, but like 2 different people. Oh, you give my kid 4 matches, that's too much. My kid only got 3 matches. Yeah, it's like 3.5. So so no one has complained about the double elimination. Not a soul. And it gives the adults more matches.
Right.
So they like it too.
Yeah.
So that has been fantastic. And that has sped up the kids as well. And then the scheduling thing, like we don't pre-schedule divisions or mats or anything. We need to know who showed up, who didn't show up, and what everybody weighs. We get them situated into their divisions. We make the division, print it, assign it, and call it.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm not going to schedule you out to know what mat you're on and stuff because I don't know if your opponent's going to show up.
Right.
Like I don't know if that mat is going to be running late or early or on time or whatever. So the way that we do it ruffles a little bit of feathers because people are just so used to seeing it at other tournaments. But they don't realize that it's making the day last longer. But
it does.
Like, sure, some, Jiu-Jitsu Con was running way ahead of schedule for some reason this year, but and they obviously schedule stuff.
But it's also different because IBJJF, you don't make weight, you're out.
Right.
You guys,
I can't
DQ
disqualify.
anybody.
I can't disqualify. So I would have to create a division and then take that competitor out, move them to another one, which shifts everything. So now your opponent's moving, your time is moving. So like it's going to continually move and stuff. And
so Shannon's literally creating brackets on the fly.
Yeah, we just wait until we have everybody there. Once everybody's there and no one's alone, then we can start making the brackets and you just start from the bottom and you go until you're done.
And she's great at it because like someone might be alone. She'll call another bracket over up to the table and say, hey, we have a guy or a girl who's alone. They're this belt, this weight, blah, blah, blah. Are you okay having them come in? And for the most part, everyone's like, yeah, this is a charity tournament.
Yes, people, it is nice that, but we'll also do things like, we've learned a lot of different creative ideas. So like, let's say I actually just proposed this to a woman earlier before I came, in our customer service platform. But, she's a blue belt, and there's two women who are older, but lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't just shove her in that division. But what we can do is put them in a 3-person division, but double medal it. So like when the two lightweights fight each other, the winner of that match is the gold medal winner, and the loser is the silver medal winner. But then additionally, they fight the other woman, and we medal gold, silver, and bronze for that division. So they're only doing 3 matches,
right?
But it's equating to 2 different divisions, and so the lightweights don't feel like we just shoved in somebody heavier and younger who's just going to steal gold from them, because they're like, well, I don't want to let them in because I want to win gold. So, well, you can let them in, but now you're going to actually win 2. Yeah, so
it's like doing 2
like
brackets.
IBJJF would never.
No.
And not to like, I'm not shitting on them or anything, but that's
well, they would if you qualify for the Open.
Well, that's it, right? But I'm saying like they would never.
But yes.
Figure out we had I had to put a brown belt in a black belt division. He was older and he was lighter, but he really wanted the matches. So I was like, okay, you're giving up 2 different things, so I'm not even going to ask the black belt's permission to like let you in, because they have the age and the belt on or the weight and the belt or whatever.
Right.
One of the black belts was like, I don't want to fight him. But the other was like, I will. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
So I was like, so we did the same thing. I was like, you 2 black belts fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a walkover for the match with the guy who doesn't want to fight. Then the black and brown belt will fight each other, and then we'll double medal it. So the black belt that did agree to fight double golded because he won the black belt match, he won the black brown belt match, so it like makes everybody happy. I'm not going to force you to fight. So, but like we'll bend and be as flexible as possible because I want to make sure that we get everybody. And that brown belt, he was our number 2 fundraiser. So, and I really didn't have any options for him. I was like telling him that we didn't have any options. And he was the one who was like, I'll fight those black belts. I was like, really? Because they're heavier, way heavier than you. But he's like, I don't care. So I was like, okay. So we want to make sure everybody gets on the mats and is able to fight for those in the fight of their lives. And because it's my event, I get to decide all the weird ways that we're happy to do it and not be so strict. Like you have to make weight, you have to qualify for this division. If you're alone, you just get a medal and you get no refund. And like, that's.
And what's the saying? It's more than just a medal.
More than medals, baby.
Yeah. So, it doesn't matter. For the record, if I'm traveling with you guys and there's someone alone, I don't care what belt level, as long as they're like 180 and under, you call me, I'll be like, I'll put my gi in my bag.
Okay? Bring your gi. Just bring your.
I'll bring my gi.
Just have your gi ready.
You never know. So, I would happy to, even throw a match for a white belt.
No, it's funny. So I have not done this, but I was mentioning Corey from Grappling X.
Yeah.
He always has his gi ready, and if there's ever a black belt alone, he will fight him.
Yeah.
And so he fights all the time.
I feel like Seth Daniels does that too, right?
does it at Fight to Win too, of course. But Seth will like set up his own fights. He's not. Sometimes he does it by surprise, but other times, he wants to fight. But Corey's like always ready to go. He's like, I want to make sure every black belt gets to fight. I'll fight anybody.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, 180 and under. Anything heavier than that? I might.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'll start bringing my gi. So cool. So I know Chicago is October 11th.
Yes.
Do you know roughly about how many competitors we have so far?
Everything's trending really well for Chicago, which is great. If you want to get into the weeds of sort of what we do, like across the 8 events every year, like they don't all hit their goals, right? So it's like this. And so, Raleigh's up, but Long Island's way down. Jiu-Jitsu World League's on the same day. So that completely kneecapped our Long Island tournament. But so Jiu-Jitsu World League is on the same day as our Austin tournament too. But Austin's actually doing well, and Chicago's doing well, but this other city is not. And so we just need everything to even out. But Chicago is doing very well. So it'll be a 500 or 600 person tournament for sure. Yeah.
See, only 500 or 600 guys. compared to 900 in Massachusetts. What are we doing?
It's okay.
What are we doing? We have a ton of jiu-jitsu gyms in Chicago, ton of cool competitors. It's a great cause. Even if it's your first tournament, could be. I think this was Brandon's first tournament last year. My youngest, it was his first tournament.
Yeah,
and he's doing it again this year. So in Madison, it was the only tournament my daughter's ever done, and she's like, I think I want to do it. So I think I'm gonna have her do the global grappling.
Sure.
Because I'm not totally sure how serious she is, but maybe she may do it. She may do it. So
I like, a lot of people say that it's my first tournament. We hear that a lot because, it's like, this is my first tournament. I'm sorry. How does this all work? When am I going to get called? And so I try to, even though it's the same question we get asked over and over again, week in and week out, like same 4 or 5 questions. When they're like, it's my first tournament, I really try to be empathetic towards that because I know how stressful that can be. And yes, we do it differently than any other tournament. We definitely do it differently than one would expect. So yes, I'll explain how it all works. First tournament, we have a lot of people who are like, I actually hate competing. TapCancerOut's the only tournament that I do.
Yeah.
I do one tournament
I know
a year
a couple
and it's
people like that.
TapCancerOut. Yeah. So that is awesome. We have the people who are like, I'm a no-gi guy. This is the only time I put my gi on. Yeah. So that is awesome too. But I love seeing the guys that are constantly competing and they're like, I'm going to compete everywhere. So obviously I'm going to compete at TapCancerOut too. And then we'll have, instructors. We had in Philly, I had an instructor like that day. He's like, I got my gi. I want to get in. Can I get in? But when you have he runs Jared Weiner, he runs TAC team. They've been so supportive of us. Yes, Jared, if you want to compete, even though you're telling me 15 minutes before your intermission, get out there. I won't even weigh you. He was going out there having fun. I love to see the instructors who, especially the guys who used to compete and don't compete a lot anymore, they still want to get out there.
I love seeing the higher belts go at it.
TapCancerOut. Yes, that is very meaningful when I see the browns, even the purples. We get more browns and blacks than we do purples. Purple's like a weird belt.
It is
where
weird.
People don't want to compete for some reason. So I always appreciate the purples that come. But the browns and the blacks, especially the blacks. As soon as I got to black belt, I hung up my competitive belt. So I know how hard it is to compete at that level. So for them to come out and do it is super meaningful.
Yeah, I think it's awesome watching black belts compete in general, but seeing them at TapCancerOut and really going at it is awesome to see. And your matches, most of them are adults, so you go follow the IBJJF rules, and they're 7-8 minutes long for black belts.
8 minutes. 8 minutes for black.
Yeah.
7 for brown.
Yeah. So Master 4, brown belt. Shannon put me with the brown belt adults with another Master 4. And we had to go, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes. Halfway through, we're looking at each other like, I thought this was 5 minutes.
Yeah. No. Yes,
so,
no rules.
Oh my gosh, that was brutal. I don't know how you young kids do that.
Well, you can always negotiate.
We negotiated our second match.
If I have 2 willing combatants who say we only want to fight for a certain amount of time, sure, the scoreboard operator can reduce it. Fine by me.
Right.
I really don't care.
Yeah, who cares?
Get you off of that match.
It was
sooner.
fun.
Yeah.
That's my point, is that it was probably one of the few times in jiu-jitsu where I'm competing where we were laughing and having a conversation while we're competing. And just enjoying it. So not taking away anything from the competition itself, because I've also done it, when I was at Philly, I didn't think people were taking it as serious. So I don't try to lay down and relax and take a nap beforehand. I was laying down and I started hearing this noise and I look over and this guy's jumping rope. And I look over again and all these guys are pacing doing their warm-ups. And I'm like, oh crap, I got to get up. I got to get moving.
Yeah, they're serious.
So then I was like, these guys are dead serious. So it was great. I loved it. Like I said, I love all aspects of it. So I love everything TapCancerOut. So thank you.
I appreciate it. No,
thank you for everything. From what it was when you were a blue belt, getting it going. Again, no one knew who you were, and now it's
they
big.
Still don't know.
It's huge.
So
they know who you are. They know who you are. It's huge. It's everywhere now.
Not everywhere yet, but we're trying.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. So.
Yeah.
So thank you for
My pleasure.
thank you for coming
Best job
and
I
doing
ever
this.
had, as
Yeah.
I always say.
Yeah.
Happy to. Yeah, this Chicago trip is definitely long overdue. So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad
when-
you're here. So
when Sarah was like, "Hey, let's go to Chicago," I was like, "You're right. We should.
we should.
Yeah, let's do it."
That's cool. And I know you guys are visiting a couple of gyms tomorrow. You're
Yep.
going to surfing.
Yep.
Then you're going to go to P3.
Yep.
We were at P3 right before Kids Bands. We're training with them.
Nice.
Great group of kids.
Good.
Great group of kids. So, yeah, have fun out there. And Jeff surfing is amazing. So his gym is like.
I know. I've seen the pictures,
Yeah.
so I'm excited
Yeah.
to check it
Yeah.
out.
So-
In real life.
Thanks for stopping by.
Happy to be here.
Giving your time. I know it's late, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. How do you want to wrap it up?
Past your bedtime,
It
right?
is past your
Yeah,
bedtime.
it probably is. It's a school night,
So,
too.
and he's got to get up early for wrestling.
Oh,
He was at wrestling before.
Oh, yeah.
I picked him up. From
Do you practice in the morning?
He practices
Yeah.
in the morning,
Morning
at night.
sometimes.
They do doubles.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that's what 15. He's got nothing but energy. All right. Until next time. Peace out.